how to authenticate to the Easyredmine application through the SSO via Azure AD, and then we will use the SAML protocol for it. So how to do that? If you are in the Easyredmine and then you are, let's say, administrator, you can go to administration, and on the right side there is a section called Easy SSO, and this is, let's say, the default view, and you have to connect, let's say, connector towards to the Azure AD. So how to do that? So here it's relatively simple. So you can click to this existing one, click on the edit, and here you can see it is a bit empty. So I will keep it in a default setting. So you can just call it somehow. So it means like how it will be visible on the let's say login page. I will show you afterwards. But in order to connect there, you have to create in your Azure portal, you have to create the application, the reference application as Easyredmine or Easyproject. So let's get to the Azure, and then I will go to the section called Enterprise Applications. And here we have to create, let's say, the new application, which will be, let's say, the reference in form of the Easyredmine. So let's click on the new application, create the new application, the own one. So I will call it like an Easyredmine or Easyproject, it doesn't matter. Click on the create, and then once the application will be created within the few seconds, so we have to, of course, configure it additionally, so to create the reference between both systems. So now we are getting there. So the new application called Easyredmine is created, and now I will directly jump into the single sign-on section, and I would like to use the SAML protocol in order to connect there. And here you can see it's also empty, so I have to configure it a bit. So let's click firstly on the basic SAML configuration, identifier, and Easyredmine. So I will put there like as an identifier entity ID the reference to the Easyredmine application. So in my case it would be this one. Boom. And pardon, so I do have this one, and then a reply URL here is a assertion consumer service, so I can search for it within the Easyredmine. So it would be in this configuration screen like assertion consumer service URL. So I can simply copy it and paste it in here, and this should be a bit enough. I can use also the sign on URL. So sign on URL would be this one, like a login, and let's put it there and click on the save. And now I'm within a few seconds I'm getting into this screen. So there is an identifier, which is the URL of the application, then the assertion customer service, which is copied from the Easyredmine screen. And now we are moving forward, and we have to put there the certificate into the Easyredmine from the Azure ID in order to connect it. So I will right now download the base 64 certificate. So clicking on the download here, and yeah, it is downloaded, and now I will open it. Just a second. Here it is, the certificate itself. Let me put it here, and I will copy it and get back to the Easyredmine. So I will put in here as the certificate in order to connect there to the system, right? So the certificate is there, so now it should be connected. And then, by the way, here should be use Azure mapping, because in the default, I suppose in the Easyredmine there is a different value. So click always on the use Azure mapping. And in order to complete it, we need to know the SAML endpoint and logout endpoint. So let's get back to the Azure, and then we can find it here on this screen, like a setup Easyredmine. So login URL, I will just copy it and put it here as a SAML endpoint, and logout should be also here. So let's copy the logout URL and put it here. And now it seems to be we do have everything set it up. Yeah. So let's click on the update. And in order to test it, because of course on the Azure ID you have a chance to test the connection, but in order to do that you have to have at least one user which will authenticate to the system. So let's get back to let's jump into the section called users and groups, add their user, and I will select there the existing one, which is me. So the account which is in Azure AD, and then the very same account needs to exist in the Easyredmine. So as a reference, in order to test it as a reference, this account has to exist. So I can jump in there to the Easyredmine, be sure that the very same account exists. I suppose my email address is something like this one. Let's search for that user. Yeah, here it is, right? So the login is the same one. So it's already there, the same reference is existing. And now I can simply test if the connection is well. So I can jump in back to the Azure ID, click on the test sign in, and let's see if the authentication will went fine. So let me select the account, and voila, it seems like the debug mode is showing me like it's working. And now I can simply test it within the Easyredmine application. So get back, I can log out from the system. But before I will do that, just a small hint. There is a certain settings on the Easy SSO which is related to how the connection should look like. So for example, yeah, those are the attributes which are visible here, right? So I will use the sign in button. So the button will be visible on the login screen, right? So if I will log out, for example, right now, so that's exactly the button which is here on the login screen. I call it like Azure AD. So this is the name of the identifier what I am using. So let's click on it, and I will be redirected to the let's say Microsoft credentials. Boom, and I'm logged into the system as a user, which was created, the same one which is in the Azure AD.